Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm going to start off. I have to know, why are you running for Congress?
Well, I'm running for Congress kind of to replace the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. I've worked in the legislature. I've also worked on the State Board of Equalization in very, very minority positions because I'm a Republican in a very, very Democrat state. I've been able to make things work and to get things done. I think we need that. I also grew up in California, and I love this state. It gave me my opportunity between the community college system and the UC, where I graduated as an adult, worked my way through school. It was just a marvelous experience that I don't think I would have had anywhere else. So I want to be sure that those opportunities are preserved for those that come after us and that those that are around now trying to do the same thing.
What are some of the key issues that you want to focus on if elected?
Well, I want to focus on job creation and retaining what we've got. The economy is really going strong. We have a fabulous community. This 49th district is really a little hotbed of industry and R&D between biotech, biocom, the life science industry, the military does a lot of R&D, so military contracting, NIH funding, really important to this district. And I think it's so marvelous, the new products they're coming up with that they can actually sell out in the market or sell to a major firm and work with the hospitals. They're doing all sorts of research with newborns, and for diseases that were formerly just, treatable, they can now find cures.
And where do you stand on health care?
Oh, healthcare is a huge issue. So I want to be sure that we get it right. And I don't think either party right now has it right. I am not for a single payer. I'm not for Medicare for all. Medicare is underfunded. And I don't see sticking more people under Medicare. That's a promise that we've made to seniors. And people wait for Medicare because it's a good program. But that doesn't mean we have to cripple it with adding more. I think we just need to make some revisions. We need to probably beef up some of the ACA where needed in the states that it works. Maybe there is some kind of independence for each state to do what it needs to do. I think crossing state boundaries for insurance coverage and allowing a little more choice in those areas. There's a multitude of things. I'm not a healthcare expert, but I do use healthcare, have raised a family, and I know how important it is.
So the environment, we want to take it to there. So
Sure.
it's a big issue for voters along the coast in the 49th. In a San Diego Union Tribune interview, you were asked whether you believe climate change is caused by humans. And your answer was a bit unclear. So do you think it's caused by humans? Where do you stand on that? Yes or no?
Well, there's humans. There's also natural disasters, volcanoes, other things that can ruin your whole day. So I think that there is probably scientific evidence. I can't say for sure. I'm not a scientist. That climate change is real, it's occurring, and I'm sure it is. But my point is always that I want to be sure that what we're doing is not so draconian that people can't stay here, live, work, and play in the state that I love. And when we're putting such draconian regulations on California and trying to implement them across the nation, when countries like China and India are spewing out much more than we ever could hope to, I really think that we need to kind of reassess and figure out a cost benefit of it. And also, we've done marvelous things. In my lifetime, I've seen wonderful things happen with climate, not with climate, but with environmental movement. And so I think there's still room, we have a lot of room to grow, but I think we need to be sure people can afford it and can live here, because if they can't feed themselves, if they can't pay for their electricity bills, if they can't have service that they need to live here, they'll either leave or they'll be in poverty, and I don't want to see that.
Another big issue in the area is the San Onofre nuclear waste plant. Any ideas on how we get that moved? Anything viable in your mind?
Well, yes, and it's kind of ongoing. This is a process, It's not going to happen overnight. But what we do need to have is cooperation. We need to have cooperation so that when we need the votes off the Congressional floor and need 60 votes out of the Senate, we get there. We need 219 votes in Congress to get anything to the Senate, and then we need 60 votes out of the Senate. So if California is constantly playing resist, and we don't even have our whole delegation on board to get rid of it, we're lacking in cooperation, I think, between the parties, and that's where I think I can help. You know, we can work together to get this done. We need to move San Onofre to the top of the list because it is a decommissioned plant. There are other decommissioned plants. This one happens to be where it is on the coast. I think we could make a case if we could get all 53 of our congresspeople and our 2 senators on board to do some heavy lifting to try to negotiate something across the country.
You've accepted money from the National Rifle Association, but would you support any kind of gun regulation on a federal level?
I'm a true believer in the 10th Amendment, which is states' rights. I really do believe that what works in Massachusetts for guns is not going to work in Montana. I think you have to have the states weigh in. I don't support anything on the national level at this point, and I don't own a gun, but I am a strong Second Amendment person, and I don't really want to give up a Second Amendment right. I think, you know, people growing up today would not give away their car keys or their cell phone, but they give up their Second Amendment. And I think it just needs a little rethinking. There's a lot of things we can do to make for maximum safety in schools and other places.
All right, Diane Harkey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and I look forward to representing the 49th, and I will serve you with distinction. Thank you.
Thank you.